process and the way they think, it's limited at best and shallow because of the fact that they don't understand global relationships. You and I both have top secret clearances. We've read reports, and it reads like a chess piece. R1 to R5, don't want to move to R5 because this affects about 5 other moves behind that move, type of thing. You get what I'm saying? We don't want to go in here too hard and too rash, because if we offend them, it's going to offend about 5 other countries when we do what we're going to do on the back end. So the thing about Marines, we go anywhere in the world for 29 days without anybody's permission but the president. So we get a little more information than most on how touchy a situation can be. So in that respect, we have to pay attention to the nuances of a relationship between countries. That's why I think a lot of military people are more focused on foreign policy than anything else locally. You know, to me, I think foreign policy is one of the biggest things I focus on any given president that could possibly be running the country.
And
that's go ahead.
Go ahead. Now, I was saying, like, and I would say, like, even when I was doing the MP squadrons and going on convoys and stuff, I seen America in a certain way, and I was like, what? Ah, man, this is not right, and da-da-da. And it wasn't until I did the embassy thing where I seen documentation. I'm like, bro, you never know the intel. Like, we didn't know, you know, we just got orders handed down to us. So we're like, oh, man, this is blah, blah, blah. But we didn't see the bigger picture because we didn't have a need to know, nor the clearance at that time. I just had a secret, let alone top secret. So It was like, and when you sit and you see documentation where the government wrote a 500-page research article just on like a trade agreement and how they had to spend millions of dollars on that alone. That's not even about strategizing afterwards and what we're going to do now. That's just the research. And so it's like, it's so much work that goes into managing this system called America. It's not a simple thing you could do from Wikipedia in your laptop at home. It's like, man, there's so many
multi-levels. It's like playing 5-dimensional chess. And there's no way to understand some of the counter moves that go from the things that we do when it comes to foreign policy. It seems easy. It seems like rhyme or reason. Oh, if I do this and this is going to happen. It's so much further from the truth.
So much, bro. And I remember, I love real estate, and I watch a lot of people who, you know, talk about it. And it's so funny because I see them, they're like, yo, the Fed increased the interest rates too high, too quickly. And then I was like, and the guy was like, yeah, so what's the problem with what the Fed did? And he was like, well, you should increase the rates so it doesn't hurt people that much. I was like, what? That don't sound like a good metrics to do economic things that, you know what I'm saying, is determined on a whole entire nation of $27 trillion. And possibly the Fed gets documentation that you don't get, and you can't see the bigger picture like the chairman that sits on the Federal Reserve. Me, I don't care how much real estate I do. I'll never be a naive to say that I know how to operate the Federal Reserve. Like, that is possibly, I'll take some humble pie there and say, hey, I don't know that. And even if I think I can, I would tell you guys, to be continued. I need to see more information that I know is classified that Powell gets and everybody else. So the decisions they make, and I remember I was researching something about, I couldn't remember, had to do with something about retirement plans and private equity getting a lot of money from, you know, institutions. And then it was saying that it was, if the interest rate is extremely low, that was competing with insurance companies and also the institutional money that would loan out money to get investments back and be able to make their multiple. And so if the Fed had too low of an interest rates, pensions had a harder time finding investment vehicles because investors could go to the Fed or the bank and the institutions and get a low interest rate. But once it increases like a higher rate, then the pensions have more weight in negotiation with trying to find investment vehicles. So it's like this big picture that many things are always at play. And for a long season from 2008 all the way up to, let's say, 2019, real estate investors had a low interest rate, like the lowest ever in American history.
Right.
But now they're still complaining that it ain't low no more. And it's like, damn, bro, what is it supposed to be low for, 100 years? Like,
right. It's
relax.
supposed to stay that way once it gets there. Come on, you know how this works.
I
Once you
wanna
get it
make
down
more
to
money.
the rock bottom, it's never supposed to go back up again. Y'all
Exactly.
remember gas when it was like barely like 50 cents a gallon?
Exactly.
99
And when interest
around
rates
the
were
80s?
higher in the past, like,
Yeah.
come on. They were extremely high back in the day, like 12%. And so, and I've been to countries like Turkey that had like 25% interest rate. I'm like, how is that even possible? You know? But
Exactly.
in Turkey, they had investment vehicles. If I spent, let's say like $100,000, right? And you convert it into Turkish lira and you put it into a savings account. That's it, just a savings account in the Turkish bank, and you convert it to Turkish lira. They were going to pay you back 16%.
Wow.
16%. And I was like, how is this possible? So I knew to look at the budget and see, okay, how much are they selling money at this bank? And then the loans, when I saw that they were giving out mortgages at 25% interest rate, I was like, okay, that's how they pay me 16. And so again, people think it's so bad in America. And I'm like, bro, you don't even know. 25% on a mortgage, bro, that's ridiculous.
The money gets funny the further away from the United States you are. That's why
Super
your shit can
funny.
pop up. Your shit can pop up and just disappear in the Philippines, Thailand too. Sometimes you gotta watch some of these banks, because when you go to do a wire transfer, all of a sudden the wire transfer don't necessarily make it to the bank. How could that be? It's all secure networks.
How that work? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then they like, me no speaking English.
I'm sorry, sir. You're gonna have to wait about a week or two in order to get that wire transfer verified. What? So you get to play with my money for a week or two and gain whatever kind of gains you're going to get off that money. Because remember, there's a whole foreign currency exchange. The minute I move my money, guess what's happening? They playing with it.
Yep. And I remember I had my Ling. She went down to the bank. I was like, look, take this money from your income and put it into this investment. So they have like, a brokerage account on the bank, right?
Right.
So you could buy like U.S. equities. So I was like, hey, yo, buy that U.S. equity. Buy U.S. companies. I don't know about no Thai companies, but buy that U.S. equity. And she was like, okay, cool. So she went to go open an account and she asked the lady at the bank,
oh, shit.
hey, what about this product? And she like, go to YouTube. I don't know. And I'm like, bro, you at the bank. The bank got the product and they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have that financial advisor at the bank who's like, oh, you want to know about our investment vehicles? Come back here. Let me ask you, like in America, let me ask you, okay, have you been contributing to your 401k? Oh, okay. How much do you make? Are you married? Blah, blah, blah. Like they don't have that. They're just telling you, go to Google and go to YouTube to figure this out for their own product.
Facts.
So I'm like, you swear our infrastructure is dilapidated or our financial system is X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, you're ignorant because other places are really bad. Really.
Yeah, you're absolutely
It's like
right.
super bad. And the bank tellers, they're like, bro, all we got to do every day is basically exchange money because people are coming off the street, with the money from selling noodles and they want to put it in their bank account. So they're like, most of our energy gets tied in stuff like that. People got to go to the bank to get a loan to go buy furniture.
Which is crazy to me. Why are you taking that kind of money and investing in furniture? Like furniture is an asset. Buy one piece at a time, goddammit. What the hell? If you can't afford both pieces, piece that shit together little by little.
Or even like, I could go to countries where we have like freehold. And I remember I went to Kenya and I wanted to buy a property and I told the bank it's free and hold so we can buy land too. And I'm like, why don't you do a 50-50 split? Like, let me buy the house. I'll put down 50% and you finance the other 50. And they're like, yeah, we don't have that. And I'm like, you're missing out on money. If I don't pay you back the next day, you keep the whole house. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't take the house with me back to America.
Right.
And then the person was like a manager and they were like, We never thought about that. That's actually interesting. And then like he was trying to make like the
you
bank
never thought
change.
outside the box before? I mean, come on, creative
Heck
financing is a
no.
thing. You know what I'm saying?
They just show up to work, you know, Facebook scroll and then get off. You get what I'm saying?
Some
But
of
it
them
was
do.
so
Some of
funny.
them
I
don't
was
do
like,
anything to apply themselves in these countries. They
no.
show up, and if you look at the way, I mean, think about it. You got lawyers and doctors that are barely making 3,000 USD a month in some of these countries, and they're still 5% or 1%ers in those countries. It's not America.
Facts.
It's not America. They're not getting paid the same. So you can imagine what a bank teller is making.
Facts.
But they're
You can
managing
probably
all
imagine
these prominent people in their community to actually have real accounts and actually know how money moves. And when they come in and say, here's a projective way. I want you to hold this money in escrow while I use it to leverage to buy this property, but I'm pulling in money in that escrow account in order to overall pay for the property within a 90-day close. What? What's that?
Huh?
You get to play with my money for 90 days. That's what it means. Okay? If I default on this, you know what I'm saying? You get to keep it.
Yeah. And that's why America lets foreigners come to America and take out loans. You got to put down a higher percentage, but they understand. All right, foreigner, don't pay us. We're gonna keep the property, and then we're gonna break even, or we're gonna make money. Shout out to OA is in the building, and Dan is in the building. He says salute to RT, and then me also, and he's saluting back. Ronin, he drops the link, and Dan says hi, top fade, got you looking young. Oh, he's talking about you, RT. You got that high top fade?
No. I got the way. I just did the fresh cut today. Woo! You know, I'm trying to get my.
About to get
I got a receding hairline, so I got to let my hair grow long on the top. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I get ready to trim up the beard. I got to give it a day after I get everything straight. But you know,
I'm about to get
myself together. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, get that wave action going on. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, when do you hit out again?
February.
Man, that's right around the corner.
I already know.
Hey, man.
I'm already working around different things, shipping companies, all that, and trying to figure out what I'm keeping here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go there for at least 4 months, play out what I'm going to play out, see if it's going to be worth my time staying there specifically, or moving around some more. And then once I do my SRRV paperwork to get my permanent residence, they give you a $7,000 credit to ship over whatever you want. You know what I mean? So I'll ship some stuff.
Well, please don't go overseas, right? And then we click on your channel and you like, yo, F America. The Philippines is a utopia and America sucks.
I would never sell the Philippines like that, man. You get yourself in trouble in the Philippines. Look at old boy down south. Look at old boy down south just disappeared. I would never do that. There's certain places you don't want to go in any country. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, here comes our boy Darnell.
Yeah, what's going on, D?
Another day in paradise, fellas. How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Got to go back to the eye doctor on Friday.
What's going on with that?
Get the results of my surgery. I'll see.
You got a pending surgery? The cataract thing? What is it?
I had surgery in October, remember?
Man, so much stuff going on with you, man. You know what I'm saying? From your sale to, the trip to now your surgery.
Yeah.
So how are you doing on your recovery?
Well, that's what I'm about to find out this Friday. Friday's the follow-up, and I'll be honest with you. The right eye, I think, was successful. The left eye, I don't think so. I still get the pain.
Now, is it laser surgery, or are they actually cutting and opening up the cornea or whatever?
I think they use a laser and like burn a hole in the lens or something to allow fluid to drain.
As painful as that sounds, I mean.
Oh, it was painful. Believe me. Don't get glaucoma, fellas. That's
especially
all
on your eyeballs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather have the surgery than go blind, though, I tell you that much.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that. Can you imagine Darnell stumbling around here with a white cane with little red circles on it? Hey, you get your 100% locked in though.
Yep.
It's not worth
Yeah.
it though. It is definitely not worth it.
I mean, I would much rather be able to see, I
So
mean,
so give
go
us some
ahead.
input on this whole thing with the USA going down the drain and China, and where you at with all this that we talked about? That obstacles actually talked about.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think the country is going down the drain. I think it's just the same old. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've heard the same stuff since the year 2000 when George Bush won. I heard everybody talking about leaving. Oh, I'm going to leave. If George Bush wins, I'm going to leave. It's the end of America and all this other stuff. And it wasn't the end of America. Then on the right, they said the same thing when Obama got elected. Oh, it's the end of America. America's still here. Same thing with Trump in 2016. End of America. Still here.
Right.
Still going strong. Still the number one leading economy in the world. We may not be the fastest growing, but we're definitely the number one economy by far. The closest is China, and they're still way back there. Just to put things in comparison. I mean, are there issues? Most definitely, but I don't care who you talk to. You talk to any immigrant that's here, they'll tell you this is the place. This is the land of opportunity. I mean, that's why they come here in droves. The way they do.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say, from what I have seen, they do prefer their own culture back home, things of that nature. But as far as opportunity goes, they're happy to be here. They're like, I would not get this type of opportunity from where I'm going or from where I'm from. And, a lot of times these are destinations where passport bros like to go. So,
right.
Yeah.
So we're running to their countries and they're running to our.
Pretty much.
Well, also, oh no, I was going to say we're running to their countries, but we're keeping our economic foot in America. They're running to our country for the economic footing, and then when we run in those countries, I don't see no ninja like, man, I sold everything and I'm just doing business here locally. And even if he did, he'd be struggling. So net, there is some that do that, but most of the people are like, I'm still going to make money online, or I still have my assets or my retirement or pension. And that's really what gives us the confidence to even go to those countries, right? Because other than that, you sweating bullets like, man, guys, send me some cash app. Because if you don't, I might be homeless on the streets of Kenya or the streets of Thailand, and you don't want that type of smoke. Shout out to Fearless Podcast. He says, Donnell, I will be waiting for my $10 cash app. I put money that you would still be in the US of A. Dang. It's
was
that?
there a bet for real? I forgot. I don't remember that. I don't remember the bet.
I don't think there was a bet, but if
he probably just making it now.
Yeah, I know, right? He want $10. I could send him a $10.
Oh, so wait a minute. You already admitting to a defeat? Is that what you're saying?
Defeat to what?
I don't know.
Not leaving the country.
Leaving.
Oh no, I'm leaving for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so why are you automatically just saying, I'm a loser? I'm a loser, baby.
I didn't say I'm a loser. I just said
he said he was going to pay.
I'll send him $10.
Kings and Dreams. That's funny though. He was like, I'll send it to him. Kings and Dreams. Salute to my brother Ronin, the guest in the chat.
What's going on?
HB Gone Global says the U.S. is dead culturally. Interesting.
Wow.
But we'll get to that. Let me read Uzi real quick. Let me read Uzi. Before you go unleash D, hold on. Let me read this Uzi and then you got it. Uzi says nobody is denouncing their U.S. citizenship. Facts. D, the U.S. is dead culturally. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, I mean, he does have a point. There is something wrong with our culture. I mean, we're a nation of plenty, yet so concerned with gain. Some of us may have experienced this on the job, to where, you ever had a coworker try to get you fired, lie on you, try to get you fired, might try and set you up, not because he's trying to protect his job. He's good, The company's not even trying to downsize. It hasn't even announced, hey, man, things aren't looking good and we got to downsize, yet that guy's trying to get you fired for whatever reason. You do have your so-called friends, and we have this problem with, and we've had this for decades, but I call it, it's called keeping up with the Joneses, you know, where the Jones family down the street done bought a new car. Oh, I got to go buy a new car because Jones family bought a new car. And we put ourselves, we put ourselves in debt. It's like that lifestyle. I have to project. We have this false sense of I have to project wealth. If I don't have a new car, that means I'm not wealthy, and people are gonna think something wrong. So let me go buy a new car, you know. And you know, you wind up making things worse. Even with property, you know, even with houses. Like, I mean, I'm, you know, like I said, I just sold my house. I'm looking at other houses, and you got people. I was talking to one guy, you know, house looked real nice, but when I was talking with the realtor on it, you know, all of a sudden, you know, all the problems start coming. It looked like a nice house, really nice. You know, had 4.5 acres, 5 bedrooms, really nice, huge.
Right.
Yeah, price looked pretty good on it. I mean, I knew there was going to be some issues with it, but then when it come to tell me that needs a new well, needs a new septic, you're talking about $100,000 worth of repair on well and septic. I'm like, man, that's a brand new well and septic. I don't even think it cost that much to dig that, you know, to put in a brand new one. Then you want another 70,000 on top of that, you know. So things are, you know, it leads to, we kind of create our own problems. Here's what I'm trying to say. You know, it's like if we just sit down and a little bit more happy, you know, a little bit more happy with our lifestyle, maybe not spend so much time on the internet and listening to these gurus that literally are just fake. You know, like I just remember the town my ex-fiance is from, you know, in Brazil. You know, I met her family. Everyone out there, I mean, they're dirt poor, but they were happy out there. They didn't have much, but they were happy. I mean, they had land. They didn't go into debt. You know, they saved their money the old-fashioned way. You remember how grandma or grandpa used to save money? And
Yeah, it was under the mattress or in a wall somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go back that far.
Yeah. I mean, I don't agree with putting it underneath the mattress, but you know, but the point is, they were able to save money and buy a house. Today, you know, no one, you put nothing down. You put like 3% down and can move in, and then you know, the payments. You know, as Dave Ramsey would say, you know, the house owns you instead of you owning it, and I think that's what creates to the issues in America is you just have, it just feels like everything is just taking your money, but the truth is you have these issues with you know, it's really your way of thinking here in this country that makes yourself look bad, or excuse me, makes yourself feel bad, I meant to say. You know, makes it feel like, okay, I'm never going to get ahead. This place sucks, you know. But I do understand what HB Gone Global is saying. Like, hey, culturally, we're dead. You know, I do understand what he's saying, but I think a lot of it is it's just we start our own. We just have a history of just starting our own problems. I've been to countries that are dirt poor, have absolutely nothing. They're the happiest people on the planet.
Okay, got you. What you got, RT?
Dang, he said a mouthful. I'm gonna let you go at this one. What you think?
Yeah. Well, what I think is that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Listen, guys.
Ouch.
Shut the heck up, man. Like, culture, number one, y'all dictate the culture.
Oh,
so
man.
y'all always blame externals. I'm gonna get tired of this shit, right? So if I go to Japan and I start acting like an American or a lunatic, Chinese people in themselves enforce a culture of, hey, go along to get along. Hey, modesty, respect of their neighbors. That's not no government constantly forcing or a hip hop trap star. It's none of that. It's the people in themselves. They embody the principles, the behaviors, and the habits that create a culture that permeates X. Meaning people they're not loud, they're not inconsiderate of other people. If you're like that in this country, it's because you're like that. The show is called Make Americans Great Again. I don't say make the culture great. Let's stop talking in these freaking confusing psychological, theoretical ways. It is people. People create a culture. Culture don't create no people. You guys make the culture what it is. It's a consensus across the board. All right? So if it's dead, you're dead. You have issues that you need to fix. In no culture do they allow something that is anti against their own values, principles, and morals. So that's you guys allowing that stuff to exist. Again, now we're talking to the point where we're glorifying the other side thinking it's greener. These people, and no disrespect, are dirt poor but happy. You're not happy. You're unhappy because you got a car. You're unhappy because you don't have to save up your whole life with the whole entire family and purchase some property. You could still do that. You don't have to get the loan. Go out there and save for 20 years. But let me speak truth into Americans. You've never saved. Your saving habits have been below 8% of all American history. You always have been spending, and you never have saved and invested. Versus the groups you talk about save in the rate of 35% plus. So don't mention them without mentioning their habits, their personal behaviors, and what they do with their own money. That's the difference between them and us. So again, America's not dead. Americans are doing dead type stuff. And they can change that if they want to. They can create any culture they want with the instance of a consensus and following those principles and behaviors and habits. Stop blaming the media. Stop blaming Instagram and TikTok and a smartphone. A smartphone is literally just sitting on your desk right now and you talking about, look at this smartphone. It's the reason why our society is messed up. You sound dumb. The smartphone's just sitting there. It's an inanimate object. The only reason it's messing your society up is because you Americans grab the smartphone and do stupid stuff.
May I have a rebuttal?
Yeah, go ahead. No rebuttal.
I'm done promoting now.
The show's over. It's like, go ahead, D.
I'm in the background promoting the hell out the show right now. You have no idea. So that's why I'm quiet.
I'm pretty sure you are. Yeah, go ahead. With that thumbnail you had last time. Go ahead,
I already
D.
got another one. I already got to fire another one loaded. Go ahead.
Those are very valid points that you raised. The only thing is, like, if American culture was so great, why is it that it's only in the United States we have more mental health issues, more of those, I'm trying to use clean language here.
Go ahead.
The mass, you know what I'm talking about, the mass unalivings.
Yes.
We statistically,
got you.
We lead, look at the American diet. For God's sakes, we got the best healthcare system in the world, and we got more people dying of diabetes, high blood pressure. You know.
Yeah.
All of these things are signs of the culture. Now, when you had mentioned that the foreigners.
No, wait. I want to clear this up. Are you saying Western culture or just American culture? Let's be clear when you say culture.
Let's do America, right, D? Would that be better?
Yes, I would say American culture. Even in other Western countries, there aren't as many of the mass unalivings.
There is, though, because they still live under the same stresses and the same expectations.
The UK be knifing each other up. So they took away guns and they just use knives. But knife crime, you got to ban kitchen knives. Like that's how insane it is. So again, people who want to do what they do, they're gonna do what they do. They don't care about no dang laws. But go ahead.
That suggest some kind of something's wrong mentally with people in general within that culture, even if it's the UK going around, like you said, knifing people. Yeah, you took away
hey, you got a noise going on. Is that all right?
I don't know if
that's me.
Or is that me? I don't know.
Yeah, I just muted my mic. It might be my mic thing.
All right,
yeah, go ahead. It was him. Go ahead. All right, go ahead, D. Finish your point.
So that you raise a good point about, okay, and you just take away the firearms and people result to knifing each other up, which is true, but but doesn't that suggest that, hey, there's something mentally wrong with the culture? Because again, these immigrants that come here, and you had even said, yeah, they're bringing their culture with them. So when they're saving money, they're bringing their culture with them. They're not in this American mindset of materialism.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, culture, let's say savings not in the culture. Let's say if we make that statement just due to the rate, right? Is the culture dead now? No, the culture's not dead. That's an extreme, right? Like there's so many positives, net positives versus the minuses. And so most people, especially in America, y'all guys think the world's supposed to be a utopia. It's not. We have our issues, just like all those countries that you fantasize about have their issues too. So y'all fantasize about it. Y'all not out here on these goddamn streets of no Filipino lifestyle. Y'all never even had to have zero in your bank account and march your way from zero to something with no money, and just had to make it off of pesos in a Philippine economy that's no bigger than maybe 500 billion. So you never had to live that life. And so therefore you're projecting going into the, Nigerian swamps and the ghettos and being like, well, the kids are so happy, not looking around, seeing, and you see the poverty, you see the lack of infrastructure, you see the lack of telecommunications and them having the ability to even be literate. But it's like, but they're happy and smiling. And so you extract from that, well, we're not happy and smiling. We have these issues, and we do have those issues, but we don't have those issues that you've just seen also. And so it's always this give and take, and it's not a utopia. Now, people being fat, that's their choice. That's not like something's making them decide to eat too much calories and compared to what they're burning, right? Net, it's the choice that people are making because we're free and we have that freedom to have, make those choices, right? But don't try to put the consequences of your own choices to the culture or to the society or to the nation as a whole. Because if we look back in American history, you'll see young guys freaking doing the monkey bars, and they was in the gym all doing push-ups. Everybody was extremely fit, right? So this has just been a road that Americans pursued. But most people will always want to put the burden off on something external. So I'm just saying the culture's not dead, right? Just people have a habit of effing some things up, right? And the home prices and everything, I already did a Facebook post about that. Like, bro, your home values are supposed to increase. People are just disconnected to reality. Look, go get an entry-level home. There's still cheap homes, right? You're trying to get a new property, an apartment downtown close to your job. You're going to have to commute. You're going to have to do all these. It's going to be give and take. You're an entry-level beginner of buying a house. So you don't get to talk about the medium house price. You got to talk about an entry-level house price because you're entering into the housing market. Just like you can't talk about a mid position or executive position when it's your first job. You got to take an entry-level job. So these are the disconnects. The house costs more than your parents bought it because there's infrastructure, morons. There's job opportunities around now, which appreciates the value. You want a cheap house, go to Detroit. You can get a house for about $5,000. But people are going to tell you, I'm not going to Detroit. Why? Because there's not economic opportunities ever since the automobile companies left.
Well, actually, I did look in Flint, Michigan. They got
what was
nice
the prices
like?
Yeah, I think so too.
They had a 5-bedroom, big ass Victorian. They don't make Victorians anymore.
And how much was that?
It was like 90,000.
Yeah, see, yeah.
It's huge.
But then people are like, I don't want to live no damn Detroit. I don't want to live no Flint. Like, so that's the problem, right? Oh, wait, hold on. We can continue, but let me read this real quick. Season Swag says military generals in charge, Matrix protecting Sousa and Panama Canal. HB says, how was Brazilian ladies, D? All right, so he can answer that. Just let us roll through the chats. Brazilian ladies, mulheres. Uzi's just laughing. And then HB Gone Global says, who is we allowing? What movement are you leading or changing? I'm trying to figure out what that meant. Maybe somebody can clarify. Dan says, buy more Tesla for FSD version 13 breakthrough. Hey, they don't know about it, man. If they don't know, they don't know. Shout out to Dan. He also says, got smoke for HB, LOL. HB follows up and says, they are not bringing their culture. They are running from their culture. Stop playing.
Facts.
That's an interesting perspective. Seeds and Swag says, wait, hold on. You got it, D. Hold on. Let me just finish this real quick. Two more. Well, one more, actually. Seeds and Swag says, Matrix, consumer-driven propaganda society, the Illuminati, the New World Order, the IMF. Yeah. We heard about that. Go ahead, D. You were going to say something about the running from their culture?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't see them really, running from their culture. They just, we have a pretty high immigration population here in Phoenix, and one of my Lyft drivers, I ordered a Lyft. This is a few months ago, but I ordered a Lyft. She was I believe she was from Eritrea, and she came here. She had a master's degree in finance. She came here. She had a job. Plus, she's doing Lyft and Uber on the side. There was just something different about her. About her mentality. I mean, keep in mind, how many people with a master's degree in finance do you know that are willing? How many Americans do you know, I should say, are willing to drive Lyft and Uber? With a master's degree. I don't know personally. I don't know any. Unless they're like,
Yeah, they would think that's beneath them.
Exactly. But to this woman who was from Eritrea, it wasn't beneath her. And to me, that's what I mean by, I don't think they're running from their culture. They're just here for the opportunity. They're still embracing their culture. Whatever habits that they picked up, they just brought it with them here. They just need the opportunity to thrive and succeed.
Yeah, but the whole thing is they're running to this country because of the American dollar. One, and the opportunity to make it. Okay, we're running away, utilizing the American dollar to capitalize on it to make our dollars go further. So that's the biggest difference and why people are running here. They're running here to get that dollar and have the opportunity to make more money than they ever could in their country because of the weight that our currency has in their country. Well, they wouldn't be running here at all because there's 176 plus sovereign nations that have similar rules to America. And we're not the number one in healthcare. So let's not be delusioned about that either. We're number one in what? Imprisonment.
Yeah, and
we're number one in what? Obesity. We're number one in a lot of things, but they ain't necessarily all good.
Right. And that's what I had said earlier when I mentioned about, our healthcare. I said, while we're not number one, we definitely have one of the top. I mean, our healthcare definitely is much better than when you go to, say, Africa, somewhere in Africa on the continent there.
Well, damn, why you got to pull our people up in there? I mean, I'm just saying, why you got to pull black people up in there?
No, but
South America.
For the jail though, it's don't do crime, guys. I've never been to a country where I seen as stupid as Americans are. Y'all so much in La La Land. Like, I don't know what country that say you could steal up to $900 and that's forgivable.
Yeah.
Like, that's the dumbest thing, bro. You could get your life taken from you for stealing left in another country. Like, take somebody's livelihood and your life is gonna be taken. Like, it's not a game. And nobody's sitting in the background like, you should never kill anybody over money. It's not that serious. Like, only some dumb Americans will say some lofty stuff like that. And so you're wanting something from a culture like, let's reduce the prison rate. Like, bro, other cultures ain't about that. They not with the stealing's okay up to a $900. Well, we got to think about the criminals and their upbringing. Bro, what? What about my upbringing? I'm trying to feed my family, and I have to wake up every day and sell eggs. I boil them at this time. I cut the noodles. I cut the onions. I make these little things. I got to go out with a cart. And then you see the lady with the scooter, and she got the cart. So she pushing the cart while driving the scooter down a busy highway in Bangkok. Set up the shop early at 5 in the morning, work all the way until 10 p.m., go home, wake up, get her kid, and do it all again the next day. And you want to steal from her? And you think she's going to be like, it's okay, long as it's not up to $900. Money's not that important. So hence people don't do crime. But y'all got a culture where y'all promote criminality. Y'all give it a safe haven because y'all want to dissect it and mentally go through the work of who, what, when, why, where, and how did Billy Bob steal. And maybe it's because he felt insecure about his looks when he was in high school and he was bullied. So again,
emotional content.
But doesn't that but from what it sounds like to me, obstacles is that you do say you are admitting that there is a problem with the culture. If we are justifying reasons why Billy Bob is stealing, because of insecurity.
Yeah, but
that
a
is
dead
culture
problem. Is an extreme. You're saying the whole culture's dead. I'm not saying that. And I never said it was perfect. So we can't, again, I didn't go to the extreme with it. The next person went to the extreme with it. I'm just saying, look, it ain't dead. We got things. Yeah. The show's called Make Americans Great Again. I wouldn't be saying that. I'm saying nothing's wrong with America because America is land, right? It's our process of democracy and capitalism. I'm not a commie. I don't think we need anything else. What I think we need to do is improve our quality as Americans and make it what we want. Remember, we create America. America don't create us. So again, you put in the nation or an inanimate object before you. You are the creator of it. You make it do what it do. Just like a helicopter. It's just a helicopter. You could use it to drop bombs or pick people up and save them, like an ambulance or emergency service. The helicopter's not the bad thing. It's you. What you decide to do with it. And so again, the same thing is with America. We got issues, yes, but we start ranting and raving. We got the most people in prison and we're overweight and our culture's dead. And it's like, what? We still got roads. People ain't got electricity out here. Some people got to freaking leave a village in India and take 3 days on a bus just to get to a hospital bed. Like, y'all really don't know how the world is struggling. Y'all go there with your goddamn backpack and y'all stay in some hostels or a resort and be like, man, I love the people here. They love poverty. They just happy even if they broke. And they've been dirt, piss poor all their lives. But man, they happy though.
You gotta want that life though. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to go back to a point you made during your monologue and while you were breaking down the other YouTubers' comments about the water situation in Flint, Michigan.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
And you say, well, what is his solution? He ain't got no solution. But you know who did? A brother from the Army Rangers named Moses West. He created that atmospheric water generator. He took a couple parts and was sucking the humidity out of the air in order to generate water. And that's how Flint is getting around with a lot of their water issues. They got these generators now that are actually sucking the water out of literal air. Yeah. You know, and now they have these wind turbines also. And the turbine spins on top and it generates water underneath the ground, which you can actually pump up out of it. So there are ways around these situations. It just has to be publicized. So the fact that this young man was sitting there yelling about, you know, the world has water issues. Well, there's solutions. It's just up to those governments and those city organizations to implement them.
Well, but
not only that, guys. This is what I've always tried to institute so your people can understand. It's not up to the government. It's up to private sector. It's up to the people to come up. Elon Musk was not, bro. They laughed at Elon Musk when he's talking about he want to do rocket ships to go to Mars. You think the government was like, yeah, let's just help you out. He had to build the institutions. He had to take the risk, invest his money, put up his money. He went all the way to Russia and they laughed at him and said, these are death machines, not no damn stupid spacecrafts. And then he had to get on the plane. And watch this. The experts who knew about rockets were drinking vodka and like, oh, it's a failed mission. He sat there on the plane and itemized every specific part to build out a rocket on that plane back. And he said, guys, we can make this ourselves. It wasn't the engineers, the expertise people who understood how to do it. who said we could still do it. I mapped out this. They said, okay, it's a loss. We couldn't get nothing. We couldn't get the missiles from Russia. I guess we'll never do it. It takes individuals at that level of dedication. And then guess what happens?
Moses West.
When it starts materializing, exactly. When it starts materializing and when it becomes a certain level where it's acknowledgeable, the government's like, hey, hello, Elon. Hello, what's the gentleman's name? What's the gentleman's name again?
Oh,
Moses West.
Moses West.
They're like, hey, Moses, how are you doing? Man,
let's reclaim that technology.
You.
Yeah, they want to reclaim
now they shaking his hand. Yeah. Now they want to get in the pictures and be in the video like P. Diddy. And then that's when they come into the equation. And then they'll start giving you incentives. Yeah, all up in the videos, right? Then Obama came down. And the only reason, I'll give you this too, the only reason that SpaceX was able to get to that position is because Elon Musk said, hey, look, I know Boeing, Raytheon, General Dynamics have been doing your aerospace missions for a long time, right? Filling out the contracts. But you pay them regardless if they make a rocket or not. That's not right, and that's not effective and efficient for the government. What I'll offer is we'll take the risk, and once we reach the milestones, then you reimburse us, like every other government does on all other businesses and industries. But aerospace is just different at that time. So he was like, we won't do a plus contract. We'll perform, we'll invest the capital, and if we succeed, then you pay us. And then Obama said, approved.
Yeah.
But that was an obvious choice. He's like, dang, when I got Raytheon to do a rocket, it cost us $2 billion. Now you do a rocket for $200 million. So again, it wasn't the government that came out and made this happen. It was citizens. It was average, regular people. You have to be exceptional. You have to be an innovator. Alibaba is one of the best companies in China. CCP didn't create that. It was Jack Ma. He was trying to work at KFC. Imagine if he got hired at KFC. He might have just kept working at KFC and been a director, but he was able to create that great company called Alibaba. So again, it was him. It wasn't no, China didn't come till later like, hey, Jack Ma, how are you doing? Yeah, we like this company. And then they started taxing that ninja, like, give the money, disperse it out to the government, do your social share and your social bid. But again, we have to emphasize that more often because we don't. And I get it. Because when y'all went to school, all they told you was about political leaders, activists. They never sat you down and told you about the industrialists, the people who actually created the things that changed your life. It wasn't legislation that changed your life. You know who it was? John Finch. John Finch created the tractor to trailer. And the tractor trailer made it possible so all the citizens didn't need to be farming all day anymore. So again, who really changed your life was people who created technology and devices, engineers, scientists. They fundamentally changed your life. And then the inventors who made it into a business, right? And then mass produced it. That's who changed your life. But you don't know about them. You don't read about them. If anything, somebody's sitting around giving you a conspiracy theory about how John D. Rockefeller and goddamn Henry Ford want to take over the world, and they institute you into schools that make you employees. Prior to Rockefeller creating and institutionalizing education, you guys couldn't read or write. You worked in the mines. That's all you did as a child. There was no school. There was no reading. Your parents said, hey, I'm going to show you how to catch fish. And that's all you do.
Or farm.
Or farm.
Yeah, I believe you worked on the family farm up until 8th grade. And then, you went to school and up until the 8th grade. Then he dropped out and worked the family farm.
They needed your backs. Hello? Yep. You were part of the family union. You had to work the land.
Yeah. Nobody can't be out here playing video games all day. You got to go out here. Y'all got it loft now. Kids are sitting around. And if you go to those said countries, one thing that you don't see is those kids sitting around playing video games all day. They'll be working the store with their mama. They'll be working in the marketplace with their mama.
But
now,
see, that's
of course, they got a little bit of iPad time.
When China was broke, they turned around and installed doing STEMs. And they told all their citizens, you're going to start learning how to do large-scale productions. You're going to learn how to work in the factories. You're going to need to know these things within working in the factories. And they went from being broke to the #2 most profitable country in the world.
Yeah, super
doing
broke. They were African poor. They were like on the top 10 poorest countries in the world. Used to be saying you don't have a Chinaman's chance because they were so broke. Not no more.
Yeah. Well, they got the Soviet Union. They found out they couldn't depend on the Soviet Union anymore. The Soviet Union in the 80s was beginning to crack.
But whatever they did, it definitely was the people. If the people decided to be bums and not show up and then just hope the CCP did everything, it would never went nowhere. Chinese people were signing pacts to each other. 70-year-old people were working and they were processing steel like never been seen in the world. And they actually didn't go against the West. What they said is, okay, we'll work with you. What do you need? We got you. And they played that submissive role the whole entire time until the West looked up and they were like, God dang it, they got us in a bind. We need them and they need us. Checkmate.
Yeah.
The successful countries did that. All the non-successful countries was like, we gonna go against them.
What they stole that symbiote. They call that a symbiote relationship where you need each other in order to survive.
In order to survive. And they stole the technology, of course. You know what I'm saying? They weren't dumb enough to be like, no, we just gonna sit and watch you develop and not learn nothing and never implement it for ourselves. Now they're gonna steal, but we gonna steal too.
And they know there's a whole black market behind that too, in order to make more money quicker. I mean, didn't we do that somewhat in with the whole cocaine thing in the 80s?
Yeah.
We finance wars behind drugs.
But it is, but it is complex, and 350 Americans got their own freedom of choice, especially more so than all those countries you often mention. When you go to those countries, people often tell you to shut up and don't talk about the local politics or the local monarchy. So again, we miss all that part too, and so the government can't easily change culture as they can in those countries. I could lock you up for saying something very quickly in China, no problem, bro. What you mean? And if you dating a diplomat, and I want information from that diplomat, I can seize you underneath my control, and you have to be a honey trap for me. Like, other countries got dumb power over their citizens, so they use it. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. That's just their country, and that's how they roll. I'm not mad at it. That's how they want to live. It's cool. I live in America. We live different. But net, we ignore all those and be like, man, how we get this culture under control? It's pretty hard when most people got their sovereign choice to do as they please. But that's the one thing we say we love about America. So at the end of the day, it comes with those downsides. But is it dead? No. Is it in the hospital and it's getting care? Okay, I'll let you say that. That sounds reasonable. But dead? Really?
Yeah.
Well, the mindset, I think a lot of people, you got to want to change, and I just don't see that in America. Nobody wants to change, really.
Change what though? What are you referring to when you're talking about change?
Just the things that change the problems, the behaviors that lead to the downfall of the culture. No one wants to change those things. Like, for example, I have a sister that she's constantly broke. And I talked to her and I listened and I said, okay, sis, this is why you're broke, and I said, you need to quit spending money. I said, you need to quit hanging out with
that's simple, huh? Stop spending money.
Well, she has a spending problem.
Right.
She likes to buy luxury purses and she likes.
Are you enabling that though, Darnell? Are you giving her money to support her spending habits?
No, not exactly. I mean, I did give her. See, I did. Well, hold on. I did give her $1,000. I made a deal with her. I gave her, actually, I think it was more like $1,400, $1,500. Couple years ago, under the promise that she gets on the Dave Ramsey plan.
Did she?
Nope. She lied to my ass,
and she continued to complain about how broke she is, right?
Yep, still broke. I convinced her to move in with mom. She didn't want to, but her roommate.
I'm sure your mom thanks you for doing that for her.
Oh, she was pissed at me. Boy, was she pissed.
Just like you try to give your dad away to everybody that travels. Hey, take my dad with you. No, you take your dad with you.
Well, it's just he wants to go to Puerto Rico, man. Come on.
Look.
Anyway,
look. I treat the family just like a bank would treat them if they come in for me for money, right? If you're coming in for money, will the bank give you a loan for what you're asking me for? And if the answer is no, then my answer is also no. Because what you're not going to do is manipulate our bond, which is called family, our familiar bond, and try to impose your will on me. That's manipulation. That's abuse. You understand? Me, I have a different perspective about family. If I'm healthy and alive and could do things myself, I will never ask you for money. Never. Because that's not what I'm supposed to do. If anything, we're supposed to come together and hunt. I'm not supposed to be sitting back buying luxury packages. And then when you come, I'm like, where the fish at? We family. Give me some of your fish. And it's like, bro, you could have came out to hunt with us and fish, but you said no. But people will manipulate. Like, well, we family. You know what I'm saying? Hook me up. So I get it. But everybody goes through that. Like most of the guys I knew who were contracted making six figures, they had to deal with this tax, right? Their family. He's like, bro, I sent my sister $15,000 this year. And he's like, every time I go to her and be like, let's do a business, let's do this, like, it never pans out. And I'm like, well, if your sister wasn't building a business, then why you going to her about building a business? You probably don't want to do that. Like, but I had the problem too. I would be forcing that when I learned about real estate. I was forcing it on other people like, yo, bro, let's get together and build this family empire. And they like, bro, I work at the casino. Or, bro, I drive Uber. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to get Uber drivers now to see the, advantage in house hacking and all this other nonsense. And it's like, that's the worst thing to do. Go find like-minded people. And then once I did that, I was able to link up with my Jewish partners, and then it went crazy. It took me to the stratosphere. But so many years I dealt with trying to get my high school friends together, and we was going to buy a duplex and a triplex. Woo, boy. And I'm happy we never signed any of them sales agreement. I had one friend, we was real this close of buying like $1 million property in Chicago. And we had this house hack, and it was a quadplex. And woo, I could barely get that fool on the line, let alone if we would have sat on that dotted line, I would have been like, hey, we need to do this. I would have never been able to contact him. Right. And now I have $1 million obligation with this person. So it's like, woo, man, I'm glad that never panned out.
Yeah, I'm glad you slowed up on that process. You're thanking him. Thank you for not signing that shit.
Thank you. Thank you for worrying about big booty girls down in Colombia and not signing that deal. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's just.
It's just, but yeah, like I said, what my sister, she, doing, she, oh my God, she listens to these idiots on the damn internet, all the damn time, takes their advice over her older brother.
What are they saying? The people on the internet, what were they saying to her?
I don't think she gets financial advice from anybody really, but she follows this one guy that promotes, I forget his name. She told me about him one day, but he promotes like 30-day fasts and things. I'm like, you're gonna die listening to that fool.
Okay, I see what you said. So it's like something with health and nutrition, cleansing.
Yeah, keep in mind she's big as a house. I mean, like if she could play offensive line. If Trent Williams goes down, she could fill in for Trent Williams. She that damn.
What did Kevin say? What did Kevin say? You can run the 8 gap like a motherfucker.
Boy, I tell you, but I still love her. But she listens to this guy talking about fast, and she goes on these intermittent fasts, and then she gorges herself. So she ain't, really doing anything. She gorges herself, eating all this unhealthy stuff, eating out all the damn time, spending even more money, because she don't cook. Instead of, doing meal prep, meal prep is a good way to save money. Cooking your own meals, you save a ton of money. Then eating out, and this culture of now it's even worse with the we can order stuff on our phones now. Grubhub and DoorDash and all that. If you look in the, when you get your items, you look and you got all these service fees, delivery fees. Man, it costs damn near as much as the food, if not more.
You sound a little experienced on that, Darnell.
I mean, yeah, I have gotten lazy, and I ain't gonna lie, I've done it.
So how
I
you
ain't
set an
gonna lie, I've done it.
example for your sister if you're doing the same damn thing? You know about the fees and everything.
Well, I mean, at the time, like I said, I was dealing with, with my drinking problem, and when you drink, you have a tendency to be lazy and not want to
So
do anything.
So that brings us back around to the point of we as individuals need to step up and start having a little discipline and doing the things we need to do in order to move forward with or without people around you.
Absolutely. But at the same time, we gotta get rid of the well, I can't say get rid of them, but you have to mitigate at least the people on social media that are just scammers.
Nah, you just got your own battle. Just deal with your own battle. No. Don't worry about the scammers, because there's other people who are not scammers. So that's just going to play out the way it played back. The biggest battle you got to fight is your own battle. And then that's one win. Because a lot of people, you don't even know, like, again, here we go, right? Like the scammers and not the scammers. There's just a lot of inactive people that are just watching both or either one. So if you're actually activating yourself and fixing yourself and going to that mental lab and doing the work on yourself versus let me go fight the world, you have zero control over that. You have 100% control over yourself. That's the easiest battle to start with first. And from that perspective, people can even look at you and be like, dang, look at him. He done changed. What you do, man? Blank, blank. They're like, dang, I got to be like you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just looking and sitting at this point where they're like, I don't know, I'm listening to this person or I'm listening to that person. But either way, for you, I'm talking, that's why I say I talk to a lot of individuals. When I'm talking to the audience, it's like, hey, take this for yourself. You fix you. And if you do that and be like, man, the world's still going down in decay. Let's say you're right. The world, America's still going to decline, but you'll be in shape, your money straight and financially secure. Tell me how that's a bad situation for you.
Well, for me personally,
no, not you personally, but anybody, right? It'll be good for you either way. Look, if the worst summer, or excuse me, if the worst winter is coming up, I'll be the farmer with the most strategies and techniques to survive through it. If I fail, I fail. Hey, it was going down anyways. But the last thing I would rather be is some of the first line who got wiped out because they were like, hey, ain't nothing I could do unless the culture change or the winter don't come. Like, I'm not going to do that. Inactivity is short annihilation. I'd rather get activated on myself because I can't trying to cure the whole planet or at least 350 million. That might not be a thing. And even if all 350 million change, you got to remember, it's got to be up to each individual of 350 million to change. So it still resides with the person. Wait, hold on. Let me just read this. Pablo says, no, Colombia has better health care. Shout outs to Colombia. RT says, salute to the chat. We are on the open. And he dropped the actual panel and the link. And then Uzi says, maybe per dollar. He's talking to Pablo. Pablo talks to Uzi. He said, that's all around, including insurance, cost, and technology. And then he says, technology? I don't know. RT says, more than welcome to join the panel. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, do all that nonsense. And also shout outs to Pablo, who comes back and says, I'm making money and I'm still with a big booty girl in Colombia. I know she's probably racially ambiguous too. So shout outs to you living your best life.
That's what I'm saying. And there's nothing
yeah,
wrong with
right.
that.
Well, no, you can't say that, Ron. You going to the Philippines. They ain't thick. They ain't got no flavor over there. They ain't got no curves. Them things is flat.
All
yeah,
right.
I know, right?
Think I'm going to go see a pancake for real. Okay. I'm gonna let y'all think whatever you want to think. Go right ahead.
Yeah, you're right. Go to Colombia. Go
the flatter
to
the better for me. The more I can slide up off that shit real quick. Wet it down with some oil and be like, whoop, right up off of there. You know what I'm saying? I don't need no bumps. I don't need no curves.
I don't need no bumps. I don't need no curves.
SpongeBob SquarePants all day long. I'm good.
SpongeBob SquarePants. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
So obstacles. You had mentioned earlier. You had mentioned about people.
You would find that shit.
Go ahead.
You mentioned about getting people to, look at you like, damn, like, what are you doing? I got to get on your level kind of thing. You ever read the book, The Millionaire Next Door?
Yeah, that was one of the first
required
books. Yeah,
reading in
yeah.
some places. Yeah.
Well,
Go
in
ahead.
the millionaire
Yeah.
in the Millionaire Next Door, one important thing that you'll take from the book is, what is the average age of a car a millionaire drives?
The average age of a car that a millionaire drives. Oh, okay, I see the question. 7?
10, but 7's close enough. 7 ain't
I
bad.
was
That's not a
going,
bad
yeah.
number.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds
But,
about
yeah,
right. They're not in a rush to impress anybody. That's not about what they're about. Every wealthy
Exactly.
individual does not necessarily wear brand name clothes. They don't do those things.
Exactly. So when you see a million, chances are you don't see a millionaire like they don't live in luxury, fancy, big old mansions and things. So when you see a millionaire, they look average or basic as hell. However, when you see these YouTube influencers and
Well, it's all about the clicks and views. You gotta look the part, right? You ever hear that phrase? You gotta fake it till you make it.
yeah,
But there you go.
But basically, you
gotta project the part in order to get your clicks.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But also too, I think that's like, it could depend on your sphere. So if I go to Bigger Pockets is one of the largest real estate social networking platforms available in the marketplace. But nobody's out there driving Lamborghinis. So it's very professional. And then also it's very open platform. And a lot of millionaires are just average people, and they come on the show and they pass good information. And so it depends on what you're looking at, right? Some people, like a Grant Cardone, yeah, he's riding around in the Mercedes G-Wagon. And also too, at the end of the day, there's different characters of wealth. Like, all wealth is not the same character. And that's more of the extreme side. Most wealth is just quiet, relaxed, chill money, not all up in your face, braggadocious. But that doesn't mean those guys are wrong neither. That just means that's their character. You get what I'm saying?
Right. And that's what they say. When you have money, it brings out who you really are. And some are laid back and subdued, and some are very braggadocious. They want to be out there in your face and show you everything they got. Every TV show you see when it comes to major real estate shows, what are they doing? They're wearing brand new suits that are fitted and tailored. The girls are dressed to the nines. They're looking like runway models, and they're all out there to get that almighty dollar when they're selling those high-end houses.
You remember that couple out of Vegas? What was it? I forget their names, but they had that flipping Vegas or
flipping Las Vegas. Yeah, that was back when the 2008 crash happened. A lot of houses went vacant. A lot of people damaged their houses. They tore the motherfuckers up, spray painted the walls. I mean, it was ridiculous what they were doing in Las Vegas with the real estate market once it flipped upside down, because they were building way too fast, over evaluating properties. They were doing that all over the country. Because I was going to buy a house in California until I was buying a first phase house. I even went in and told them exactly I wanted certain holes, cutting walls and everything. I was getting ready to close the thing, and the mortgage broker that I was financing to said, "You're lucky." Hold up. I'm lucky. What do you mean? She goes, "Well, you're buying a first phase house and you're only going to spend $160,000 for your house the way it is. By the time we get to the fifth phase, that same house is going to have a equity built into it to where we're going to offer that buyer $275,000 for that same fucking house." I said, "What are you doing? Are you changing the wood I-beams to steel I-beams? Are you changing, quartz to granite? What the hell are you doing in order to run up that rate?" "Nothing. We can just do it." But I'm an architectural major. Hell, fuck no, you can't. You can adjust for cost of living, labor, maybe even the cost of the location. There's several other things you can build in. You can't just guarantee $100 and some $1,000 income increase just on a whim. That means the industry is in collusion, from the evaluators of the property to the actual builders to the financiers. They're all colluding at that point. If you read through what he said, you're lucky.
Yeah.
And I refuse to sign the contract.
Yeah, the thing is with the so what happens is a lot of times the people that buy in early, they don't have to spend as much because the whoever's building that development They
They
actually
want
don't
the
have the
encouragement
money.
of free sales. They want the early sales. Absolutely. I understand the market.
They're
I
trying to
understand what
raise-
they were doing, but
They're trying to
you
raise
can't
capital.
build in that kind of profit margin into a development like that without a whole bunch of other people agreeing to it,
Well,
which
you
calls for
remember
collusion. And that's why the market took a dump.
Yeah. Well, you remember the Tri-Point Homes, those people I told you about building $1 million houses down the street from me?
Yeah.
I took a look at their books from about 3 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
you catching on.
And they had like 22, they were averaging 22% profit margin.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Go figure that. Yeah. So what were
It's
those
pretty
same
good.
size houses being built for back then?
I'd have to go back and
Less
look
than
at
$1 million, I guarantee you.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, that was before everything went crazy. But yeah, you know, but the point, the point is that when I took a look at their books, man, I was like, holy cow! And what I found out is that the people that were buying in early, they were getting all the good deals. It wasn't really a good deal. They were probably paying the actual value, and what they were doing is they were marking up everybody else that bought.
They're
after.
inflating the value on everybody else's property.
Yep.
Which, if you wanted to take a quick investment, you know that that's going to happen. You hold the property for 2 to 3 years for the projected project to end, and then you sell your first phase house at the very end and double up on your money and walk away from it.
Yep.
Yeah,
but if you don't have the money to do that.
And it's specifically, I'd say, like, even with those, the market for real estate is the majority of the GDP. So it's a big thing. So you're going to have issues like that, right? No industry is perfect with no kind of gray or shady or murky things being conducted. That's just not even life anywhere in the world. But let's say that the small percentage is there, right? What happens most of the time is it's going to work itself out in long term, right? Like, it doesn't stay like that for the majority of the term. So a lot of times we have these little issues in pockets in real estate or across the board, right, with developers trying to skirt and do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But again, that takes away from the actual developments that are actually good.
Are legitimate, right.
Are legitimate. And most people just ignore that completely and want to focus on these extreme circumstances versus then looking at the macro, right? And the macro is most people who develop in property are barely making a margin, right? It's not that freaking, it's not dope as it might seem, right? It only gets better with the increase of infrastructure. So big developments, but even with them, they have to deal with just market turns. When the rates increase,
Right.
a lot of people developers just sat on a house and they lost all that money. So even if they were a part of quote unquote some mischievous stuff, it ain't good for them now, right? It came right back and hit them in the face. A house is very complex. It's nothing fun as far as developing it, upkeeping it, and then, like trying to create strategies on growing it and developing it. But here's one thing that the people can always do. You can always go buy land in middle America and build your own house.
Yep.
There's no legislation against that. But again, people would rather talk about that nonsense than do it. So is you going to talk about it and do it, or just be quiet and sit on the bench? Versus being mad at the housing market where people out here actually fixing dilapidated houses in your community where you're not. It was a video that I kind of showed previously in the past where it was an abandoned school that sat there for the longest. And it took 3 individuals from the community to say, hey, why don't we turn this into micro apartments? 3.
Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Wait, obstacles. How long did it take them to do that?
Man, maybe about let's say a year max.
What? A year?
Yeah,
Dr.
maybe a little
Umar
bit
Johnson,
more.
I'm calling him out. Dr.
Oh,
Umar
no,
Johnson. Why
come
did it take
on,
you
man.
12 years,
Oh,
brother,
dude.
to build a goddamn school? And you got
Come
3
on,
brothers that
man.
can put damn houses together out of a school district.
Let Dr. Umar, I don't know, he do got a building, I think. Like, I
got a
did kind
building.
of.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
it's taken them 12
I think,
years. What corporate America job do you have that you can run and say you a master of all? And
well,
run
I
it for
haven't
12
seen
years and
nobody
not
build
be
the school
successful in your
quicker.
project? No, there
I
are
haven't
several
seen-
rappers. There are several rappers and other people.
Okay,
even
if you're a
LeBron
rapper.
James. Even LeBron James has built several schools in
No.
Indiana.
Wait, hold on. We got to clarify that though.
Clarify how.
LeBron James didn't build no goddamn school. He gave the money, and then other people built the school and made it. He was just contributing capital. That's different from what Umar Johnson is attempting to do, where he's not only building out the school, he's operating the school, and it's based on his own particular curriculum. The regular curriculum at LeBron's, it's entirely different from what Umar is going to be doing. Now, I'm not defending him. I'm just talking about the facts of the case.
Please don't.
No. Well, I'm gonna defend the facts of the case on the ground, and I know that what he's doing is not simple
at all. He's not teaching anybody right now.
No, of course. I didn't say he was, but that's not the conversation. The conversation is, LeBron did it, which gets paid millions. He's almost a billionaire and compared to an average guy. No, it wasn't built. It was not built by LeBron. This is why I get into the. He did not build. Okay, but the one you gave. Okay. When you figure out those, then it's okay. That's a different conversation. But the ones you gave, they did not build. Now, I'm not saying that contributing capital is nothing. It is something. But net, that's different than what Umar is doing. So I'm pointing out that nuance. Again, I don't appreciate when people prefer, and people do whatever they do, but I'm going to say something. When people who don't build schools and aren't doing what he's doing specifically just sit from the sidelines and say, it took too long. Like, that's not a reason. Like, things can take long. That's okay, and he's got a building now. Now we're moving it. Yeah. Now we're moving the goalpost. Mm-hmm. He got the building. Now it's, you know what? And, like what? What now? Because if he didn't have the building, it was a different one.
Are you financing this guy?
No. But why is that the conversation?
Because I'm just saying, do you believe in his purpose?
I'm not against a man doing what he wants to do in this world. If he wants to build out a school, why would I be against that? Why are you against it? Why are you against it? If he's wanting to build out a school,
somebody claims they're doing something and they're doing it in a proper manner, in a steady manner, when they're running an organization, they show receipts. They show an annual report.
No, they don't. Private organizations don't. No, they should not. Private organizations are not deemed to do that.
So then why would anybody believe in a private organization and build and actually contribute to a private organization if they're not doing the proper things with the money they claim that they're doing? Why would they do that?
What evidence do you have to substantiate that he's improperly using the money? You have to take him to court. You can't just say he's guilty because you're saying he's guilty. Has he been to court for doing that?
12 years and no.
The time frame does not matter. The time frame does not matter. Again, what school have you built in 1 year?
You can't keep flipping that to just whoever is building that. If that's not my purpose in life, has nothing to do with what I'm driven to do.
Yes, it does, because you're saying, why is it taking him 12 years? What I'm saying is,
then that means that anybody running in the government office, you don't have a right to comment about politicians or anything in life if you're not doing it yourself.
Most people don't. I say that on the channel all the time. You can't talk about the national debt if you're in debt. That sounds stupid. You're in debt yourself. You don't have any financial, what behaviors and habits do you have? Like, I'm not big enough to say, sometimes I say, look, that's not my expertise. I don't know.
But does anyone know? But no,
naive people want to go on and say, well, it shouldn't take 2 years. What do you know about it? You don't know nothing. You never built no school. You don't know how complex it is. So I could easily say that about anything. I'm not big enough to say that. I'd be like, man, that's complicated. I don't know. I don't major in that. I never did it. I don't know.
Let me ask this question. Does anyone know, is he building the school under a 501c?
No, I don't know. Do you know?
No.
I don't. Because if it's a 501c, he does
has to produce declare records. Yes.
Yep.
Shout outs to Dan. Well, you don't know. So you could say that, but you don't know what his thing is. So again, you're saying something that might not apply to him. So again, you got to know the particulars. And this is what people just do in general. It's not even the Umar and necessarily. People do this to Elon Musk. People just do it all the time. It's easy to talk crap when you're sitting on the sidelines. It's harder to get in the battlefield and do it. Now, a better example would be King Renaud. He's building out his school down in the South, and I might be messing up the brother's name, but he has a school now. He's acquired the building, and he's still under construction of that school, and it's been quite some time. I think about 3 years, but even still, getting the money. He's doing it all as he goes. You see what I'm saying? He's raising the money and going along with the process. And now he's dealing with issues like it is with, development. If you're getting the money as you move along, the house is still deteriorating, right? Issues are coming up. Plus, he's not really, a specialist at building out that type of infrastructure. It would be like commercial real estate. So he's having those issues. You get me? But he's going along with it. And he provides funding and the transparency. But that's what he bases his platform off of when he's asking for contributions and donations. But that's the way he did it. That's not the way Umar's doing it. And I don't have evidence, nor has he been to trial and been convicted of embezzling funds. So.
Oh, you know what? I will take this back. He did have a 501c3, and he was told by the state of Pennsylvania to cease and desist taking in donations. That was
Dr. Umar.
That's not a good sign.
Okay, so he has been. So he don't take donations no more, or he's violating the law?
He's violating the law if he does.
If he does, right?
If he
and
does,
he's not doing it anymore.
Do a 501c3. Now, obviously, he does cash
so
apps
what's the
and everything else on his
now?
lives. So the way he gets his financing now is 100% online.
It's cash app?
Yeah, cash apps or whatever. But he can't use a 501c3.
And he got the school, right? That's not debatable.
Yes, he has a property.
He has the property.
That is confirmed.
Okay, cool. Now
has he moved the dates back? Absolutely.
Of course.
Several times. But of course, when you have funding issues, you're always going to have to move back projects.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. It's not something uniquely to Umar. It is something in general that happens. Tariq Nasheed attempted to do some stuff too, and he had an issue too. Because a lot of times these people are going into spaces they're not familiar with. They don't know nothing about building out no goddamn infrastructure, especially about no commercial real estate.
I can't remember this guy's name. It's frustrating me right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. He's popular too. I want to say he's a podcaster. One of the podcasters is a brother. There's two brothers that podcast, and one of the brothers actually have a school system of like 3 or 4 different schools.
Wait, hold on. Dan says Umar doesn't seem to have any team. One man band, amateur hour. Yes, of course, amateur hour.
Right, but if you're going to be taking in donations, though,
no.
you definitely
everybody's an amateur until they're not no more.
Right, but all we have are, as men, are words. You know what I mean? That's
no, we got a lot more than that. You might say that about yourself, but I got way more than my words. But go ahead.
Well, but at the end of the day, God forbid, but you were to pass
words
away.
Is cheap.
Granted,
look in your back chat
stuff with you.
Obstacles.
Yeah, I got you.
Take a look at that real quick before you publish it.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Go ahead.
You can't take your wealth with you, and everyone's only going to remember, the type of person that, you were. If you were a scammer, you're going to die a scammer.
Or the perceived person of the scammer. Again, it's not documented that
I don't
he's
care
not
about
doing
that.
the proper things with the money. It's the argument of should there be a timetable on what he's saying, and if not, should he be producing some type of proof? For me, I would say he should be producing some type of evidence that he's moving forward on a regular basis based on the donation amount. But again, even with a 501c3, if you guys really understand what that is, only like 10 or 20% of the overall donations has to actually go towards the cause.
Right. But at least
a lot of it can go towards salaries.
Yeah, but at least it's documented, and if someone cares to read it,
somebody has to be able to look that over and see it. I don't know if that applies obstacles. That's why I didn't want to blow that up.
Yeah. No worries. No worries.
I think those are all black-owned schools and
black-owned schools. Yeah. No, there's not. I'm not saying there's no black-owned schools. That's
I don't
crazy.
know what the parameters were on how long it took them to build. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
We would have to click on each one of them and look at how long it took for them.
Exactly.
From concept and then to actual.
If they had it, and watch this. If they had a better team, if they had better connections, and it's not because they inherited. No, they probably built better connections, built out a better team, had a better plan. That happens. I mean, there was a thing called Tulsa Real Estate Fund that it was like one of the first.
Oh no, not Tulsa. Are you saying Tulsa or Tulsa?
Tulsa, whatever. Yeah, that one.
Oh my God!
And they had a fund, and they had the big commercial grade property down in Atlanta. They bought it, rehabbed it, and etc. The Black House.
The Black House.
And then that syndication and that fund had massive amounts of issues, but it was investigated by the SEC, and they didn't actually follow them up for no wrongdoing. Doesn't mean that nothing's wrong. They just didn't find it, you know? But net, we can't say they're guilty. Now, here's a problem. With an illiterate investor population, right? They're looking at it like, well, why didn't you make money? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? And they're not understanding. When I actually read through the documentation, they just made poor business decisions out of their real estate syndication. They weren't doing traditional real estate, meaning, hey, let's just get this building, build it up, and then rent it out to whatever tenant that needed, commercial grade building class A.
Right.
What they did was do that, but also run a business inside of it themselves, which was a co-working space business. So that's an entire thing that's different from traditional real estate syndications and just real estate in general. Because now it's owner operated and you're operating a business. And so the business didn't pan out.
Cash flow issues.
Oh, yeah, crazy overhead, right? And the business didn't pan out. So that became an issue and people weren't getting the return as investors. Now, here comes ignorant investors. Where's my money? You scammed me if I don't get my money. That's false.
That's not true. Just like
this
on
is
the
a
stock
risk.
market, you're not guaranteed. Right.
Exactly. But most people, again, assuming they're going to get guaranteed. I mean, come on. Most people can go around here and say they don't want no government intervention. They don't want to do nothing with regulators. And they go invest in FTT and FTX. And then when they get scammed, the first thing they want is the government to intervene and enforce and apply some regulation. It's like people are just, I'm not even going to say hypocrites. That's what it is. But what I'm just saying is,
let's say they're self-centered. It's only for their benefit.
They're self-centered. Exactly. There you go. So again, the whole thing is just, it's interesting. Every case you have to look at it in its detailed particulars. But I'm thinking that at the end of the day, Dr. Umar is going to build the greatest school of ever. And he's going to teach all the new Elon Musks of the future. It's going to be 20 Elon Musk,
brother, man. I swear to God,
coming from Dr. Umar's joints.
I do.
And Elon's the richest. It is looking good. You know why? Because Elon's the richest African American. No, wait. Hold on. Watch this. I bet you didn't know this. Elon Musk went to Dr. Umar's school, and that's why he's successful the way he is. Because Dr. Umar Johnson had taught Elon Musk how to be industrialist. So there we go. He gonna build out.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, because Dr. Umar Johnson got African studied warfare as one of the schools in the curriculum. So he gonna bring.
Umar don't mess with snow bunnies. I didn't know he messed with white men either. So you know what I'm saying.
See, that's where he run afoul with me. That's where he run afoul with me.
Exactly. Because we all in the negative when it comes to that.
Yeah. Come on, man.
The sisters, you in trouble with Dr. Umar. So that's why I'm like,
what do you say about? I think he says same for the Linglings too. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody that's not melanin. Yeah. Anything that's ain't got melanin. Now he did go to DR and have a little second thought. He's like, no, these are sisters down here. So
yeah.
But all the other ones are women. Yeah.
Well, when it comes to snow bunnies or whatever, I'm telling Dr. Umar,
Women love my skis, guess it's magic, it's a blessing. When I die, I'ma go to snow bunny heaven. Snow bunny heaven.
He might be mad about that one. Sorry about that, Dr. Umar.
Oh, man, not snow bunny
I can't defend you on that one. Nah.
Wow.
And all my donations went to snow bunnies.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you was talking about, D, but when you say when you die and the word is all you got, I'm going to snow bunny heaven. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
That's all I mean,
they do say it's white in heaven. It's all white,
Exactly. Snow bunny heaven. All right.
I guess.
So in closing, man, besides me going to snow bunny heaven, and obviously I'm a sellout. Look at my hat. You get me? So y'all knew I was selling out and going to snow bunny heaven. Well, what do you call Ling Ling heaven? You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's a different
That's
one.
a whole nother thing because I'm
Soy
yeah.
sauce heaven. But
Not
net
so-
net, you know I'm a sellout. So net.
Oh man.
Yo,
pause.
D,
I
what
did
you
not
got
say
for the
that.
people? What's your closing message, man?
Well, my closing message, just, I like what Obstacles has to say. I like his mentality, his very strong mentality, good mentality to keep. I mean, I do have disagreements on certain things, but it was a real good mentality, help keep you strong, as far as, get falling for the traps, that are in place. Thing is, save your money, don't go out buying a Jordan collection. Don't, so-and-so tells you to go, oh, you should do this, do that, and don't listen to them. Just, just, I'm not gonna say be a minimalist, but, just, try to, if you want to enjoy, the secret to enjoying life is, to live on less than what you make. And just always remember this from the book of Proverbs, but the debtor is slave to the lender. So just always remember that, and try to live your life accordingly, and you could change the culture in America by doing that.
Shout out to D, man, giving us that sauce.
He dug for that one, didn't he? He went digging a little bit for that one.
Facts of life, man. He was representing USA with that one.
You gonna come up out of that hole down there? What the hell?
No,
hey, all
you
I'm
next.
saying,
RT, what you got?
I'm gonna close it out like this. Get your passports. Go overseas. Enjoy your way of life overseas, and leverage the American dollar the best way you can in those other countries. That's simple math. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be spending at least 4 years overseas. I'm going to watch all this from overseas. I'm going to look at you guys and say, hey, I'm praying for you. And I will be. I'll be praying for each and every one of y'all. But I'm deporting myself.
Sell out, man. Come on, man. You see, RT done sold out America for
I
Philippines.
deported
Not
myself,
like me.
bro.
I'm still in America, guys. I swear. I'm in middle America. I ripped the red, white, and blue. I ain't go nowhere.
Go outside real quick with your camera. I dare you.
Nah, I'm good. Nah. I'm definitely in Thailand. I'm out. But for the most part, I enjoy having people on the panel. And again, most of you guys might clock in and be like, man, they disagree. Bro, we disagree. But we agree for the most part. Yeah. And I know that, like 90%. So 10, we just talk about it and it's entertainment. And we just have a different opinion. But nobody said I'm right. I could be totally wrong, and D could be right, and RT could be right. So again, we're all just working through this bad boy, coming up with the best strategies that we think will work in order to build out the lives that we individually want, that we see as peace in our own eyes. So again, that's what you guys do. We talk about making money on this show, not to be braggadocious so we can get Lamborghinis and Ferraris. We talk about it in order to get free. Buy your freedom papers. Now, if that's in a passport and taking your US dollars and multiplying them in different countries and selling out for ling-lings, then so be it. If that's to sell out for racially ambiguous big booty broads down south, so be it. But at the end of the day, it's us free. Give us freedom. So we are fighting for freedom.
Boss,
and we'll do that through
we free now. We
freeze now.
We freeze.
And the only way to get free is not the New World Order and stopping the IMF and the Illuminati and the Rothschilds. The best way to do it is to focus on your own life and improve yourself. Obstacles to opportunity. We got. Let's get it. And put some respect on the United States for letting me get free in the first place.
Music, bro.
I got
going through so many changes.
You gotta do your ending, man.
Yeah, shout out to everybody.
Hell with giving
everybody
some housekeeping. You run your house music, your shit. Stop giving everybody else they credit. I want your flowers. Put your
I got you, my brother. I got
in the field.
It's shout out to Dan. Dan says Ronin will have 3 to 4 on rotation. I don't know.
No, I'm not trying to do that, bro.
We not you early passport people.
Listen, Dan, I am quality, not quantity, brother. I am quality, not quantity. You youngsters, go right ahead, man. Y'all tackle all the. I've done it. Yeah. Been there, done that.
We did it before. We did it to their moms.
I want to be able to sleep at night knowing I ain't got a knife to my throat or I'm trying to get scoped. Did you get what I'm saying?
Nah, we hear you, man.
And I did not mean to drop another bar like that, but I goddamn did it.
Yeah, you did. But them youngins, man, it's their first time. Let them get their feet wet. They think we doing the same thing. We chilling, man. We just chilling on our land and just being safe, calm, cool, collected.
I want to know every pimple, every mole, every bump. Bruh.
All right, we got you, man. And then also at the end of the day, I get it. Y'all guys haven't been in the field. So that's why y'all say that.
Get it.
Get a G.